This video is to learn distributive property and how to combine like terms. The goals of this video are to use distributive property and to combine like terms to simplify an expression. So first we're going to talk about distributive property. With distributive property, there are two operations. You are going to multiply, and then there's going to be an addition or subtraction. So the distributive property is used to simplify the product of a number, which means multiply, and the sum or difference, which means addition or subtraction. So let's look at some examples. In number 1, we have 5 times parentheses 2x minus 3. With distributive property, the first step is to take the number or the variable outside the parentheses and multiply with what's inside the parentheses. So 5 is outside the parentheses. It's going to be multiplied with 2x and with negative 3. So 5 times 2x is 10x. 5 times negative 3 is minus 15. Then with distributive property, we're done. There's nothing else to do. These do not combine because they're not like terms, which we'll talk about later in the video. Number 2, we have parentheses 3y plus 6 times parentheses negative 7. Now, parentheses negative 7 is just there to remind you that the negative goes with the 7. So even though it's at the back of the parentheses, it still gets distributed because the other set of parentheses has more than one term. So we're going to multiply with negative 7 to both terms. 3y times negative 7 is negative 21y. 6 times negative 7 is minus 42. Number 3, negative parentheses 5x minus 10. This negative, remember, is really like a negative 1. So we're distributing negative 1 into parentheses. When you distribute a negative 1, it changes the sign. So negative 1 times 5x is negative 5x. Negative 1 times negative 10 is plus 10. All I did there was change the signs of my two terms. Number 4. Now there's 3 terms in the parenthesis, so we're still distributing the number outside the parenthesis though. We're still distributing this 3. This time it just goes to all 3 things. So 3 times 5x squared, 3 times 5 gets us 15f squared. 3 times negative f gets us negative 3f. 3 times 2 gets us plus 6. The same thing happens in number 5. The negative 2 is behind the parentheses, but it's still going to get distributed to the other 3 terms. So negative 4x squared times negative 2 gets us 8x squared. Negative 2x times negative 2 gets us 4x. 10 times negative 2 gets us minus 20. Now, we're going to look at distributing when we have a variable out front. So there's 2 different things that can happen. In 5 and 6, it happens when the variable is the same. So when I distribute 2w, and there's already a w there, the exponent increases. So 8w times 2w. We multiply 8 times 2, which gets us 16. Now, because there are 2 w's there, it becomes w squared. 2w times negative 10. Since negative 10 doesn't have a w, it stays the same, so it's just negative 20w. Your exponents only increase if you're multiplying with the same variable. Number 7, negative 5q times parentheses 11 minus 2q. So we're going to distribute the negative 5q. Negative 5q times 11 is negative 55q. Negative 5q times negative 2q gets us plus 10q squared. The q squared is because there's both a q for both terms. Now, 8 and 9 are a little bit different. In 8, none of the variables are the same. So we're just going to show that we multiplied them by writing the letters next to each other because that shows multiplication. So we have parentheses negative k minus j times negative h. We distribute the negative h in, so negative k times negative h. Those are different variables, So we're just going to write them next to each other. So now it becomes KH, and then we have negative J times negative H plus JH. Number 9 brings both ideas into this. So we're going to distribute the 3x to everything. Now, in the first term, 3x times 4x, they have an x, so my exponent changes. 3 times 4 is 12. X, there's 2 of them, so this becomes x squared. The next term, 3x times 5y, those are different variables, so we do 3 times 5 is 15, and then we write the x and y next to each other. And then on our last one, we have 3x times negative 6, which gets us negative 18x. Now we're going to switch gears and we're going to look at combining like terms. So when you combine like terms, you only combine like terms that have the same variable to the same exponent. So if you look below, there's some examples. Like terms, constants, 5, 11, negative 18. Those are all numbers. They're all like terms. The second set are all like terms because they all have a g. The third set is all like terms because they're all x squareds. These are examples of not like terms because they have different letters or different exponents, or some of them don't have variables at all. So let's practice combining like terms. So we're going to combine like terms. You're going to add and subtract things that are alike. So in number 10, 4x and negative 2x are like terms because they both have x's. So I'm going to do 4 minus 2, which gets me 2x. Then I'm going to look at what's left. I have 9, 4, and 10. Those are all constants because they do not have a variable with them. They're like terms, so I'm going to add them. 9 plus 4 is 13, plus 10 gets us 23. Number 11, combine like terms. So when I look through this, I have a 3x and a 4x. So 3x plus 4x gets me 7x. And then I have y's. I have 9y minus 3y minus 5y. So 9y minus 3y is 6y. Minus 5y gets me minus 1y. If you don't want to put the 1 there, you just want to write minus y, that's fine too. Number 12, when I look at this, I have a 5g to the 4th and a minus 3g to the 4th. They're like terms because they're the same variable and they both have an exponent of 4. So 5 minus 3 gets me 2g to the 4th. Notice, when I combine these, my exponents do not change. Only the leading coefficient that's in front of the variable changes. I also have like terms 2f squared plus 6f squared, which would get me 8f squared. Number 13, when I look at like terms, I have 11m plus 10m. So when I add those, I'd get 21m. I have negative 4p plus 9p. So negative 4 plus 9 gets us a positive 5p. And I also have a like term of 15 minus 3, which gets us plus 12. Number 14, when I look at this, there's a lot of x and y's in here for variables. So I have to pay attention to what looks exactly the same. So this looks the same, negative 6x and negative 2x. They both only have one variable. They're both to the same exponent. So negative 6 minus 2 gets us negative 8x. The next thing that looks alike is 12xy plus 13xy. These are both like terms because they have two variables together. So when I combine them, 12 plus 13 gets us plus 25xy. Last, I have like terms of 12y squared plus 6y squared because they are both y variables and they both have an exponent of 2. So that gets us plus 18y squared. Remember, our exponent does not change. It stays the same. 15, when I look at this, I have a like term of 14x, 16x, and minus 11x. So 14 x plus 16x is 30x, minus 11x gets us 19x. And then I also combine the like terms of 9y minus 20y, which gets us negative 11y. After completing your notes, complete the in-class practice and take the quiz on Canvas.